How? Merry Christmas. Yeah, Santa's not coming this year. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you might, or he's been the last 2 years. I would say always comes, but he's been the last 2 years. Santa has. He's not coming this year. All he did was sent me a couple of signed photos. But I think they're like 2 signed photos that he's been sending to everyone. What a bastard. I just really want to plough through this video because this is no word of a lie. This is the 5th attempt I've had at it. I've done them all. This is my 5th attempt. They've all been around about 25 or 30 minutes long, which I'm getting sick of doing. But then I always watch them back because that's my quality control. If they bore me to tears and they don't make the grade, and that's how it used to be. I was when I first started making videos. I was a bit a bit wary. I wasn't too sure about the videos, and I wouldn't often wouldn't upload them. And then I got used to it, and then I could literally like one take and then sort of stick it, upload it. But then until now, for some reason, it was my 5th attempt. I watched it back. Don't know. I wasn't cutting the mustard. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm losing my mojo. Maybe all I need to do is wait until the Christmas spirit kicks in. Don't know. As you can see, I've got my Christmas hat, so Christmas is firmly here. I've not actually put my decorations yet. And then I had all these attempts at making this video, and then my computer went tits up. It just went, lost it. I had to go and get it looked at. I mean, it's something obviously because there's something wrong with it, and I'm not too bad. Oh, actually no, it's a bit of a lie. So I'm a bit rubbish with computers. I can sort of see where the problem lies, but I can't sort it out myself. So I had to have it sent away, and now it's come back. It works, but nothing's quite in the right place, and I don't like change. I think there's probably a lot of people out there that don't like change. That's why we're retro gamers. That's why we like retro games, because we don't like change. That's why everybody goes mental when YouTube has a rejig. But I've forgotten what the purpose of this video. It's pickups, pre-Christmas pickups. But I'm sort of becoming aware that I'm repeating myself because I've done this video so many times. It's never quite the same like every time. It's never quite the same, but I don't know. There's certain points where I'm repeating myself. Anyway, it's up to 3 minutes already, and I'm going to crack on. I'm not going to waste your time or mine. I'm going to make sure this is going to be the first and last. Right, pickups. I've said this before. I've not been buying much in these last month or so. I had one game for about 2 or 3 weeks. A pile of one game. That's my lonely pile. And then I went out one day because I was getting a bit itchy feet, and then found 13 games in one day. Of a decent standard, nothing mind blowing. And since then I've bought one or two more. So and this will be the last video for Christmas. Because what's today? 21st. Yeah. It will be. I might do it. No, it will be. But anyway, I'll any sort of Christmas messages I'll incorporate into this video. Right, pickups. Yeah. And there's me saying I was going to carry on with it. Anyway. First one from Blockbuster for $1.99. It's Way of the Samurai. This was recommended by TG Appalachian over there in America. It's sort of a samurai sandbox game. I think you're a Ronin, a masterless samurai, and then you travelling samurai, and you find yourself in a village where there's 2 warring factions and villagers, and then you have to pick and choose how to go about playing through the game. It's like lots of sort of different branching paths, and that sounds really interesting. And the combat sounds interesting as well. It's not your standard hack and slash one-on-one combat or like melee combat. But no, sounds interesting and recommended by TG Apple's. It was only $1.99. It came from a branch. Shit, force. It came from a branch of Blockbuster that don't do buy one get one free. Some do, some don't. Most of the ones I go in don't, because they're cheap bastards. That's another reason why I didn't use the last video. The last video I did, because I was sitting there and I had a few more accoutrements. On I was like being a bit more of a twat than normal, but obviously that's for you to decide. And not that you'll ever see the video. And then my neighbour, I saw him come down his drive. He's a good lad. I like him. He's got a like my neighbour. He's not a twat, but and then I've got the windows open to let the light in, and he came and posted our Christmas card. And I just all of a sudden felt really self-conscious. I'm standing here with all this sort of I had tinsel on and a stupid. I'll show you. I had this tie on. Where is it? Well, you fucker. Oh, there we go. I had this tie on. Lovely. All of a sudden I felt really self-conscious. And I hid. I literally ducked down below the table and hid. Don't know why. Well, no, I do know why, because I'm an idiot. But anyway, and afterwards I watched it back. I'm like, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing behaviour. So I'm like, that's not getting uploaded. So I don't do it again. So anyway, right. This is the first game of the pile of 13 that I got all in one day. This came from a charity shop in Walthamstow. British Heart Foundation. It's Duke Nukem, the first Duke Nukem. It was 99p. I've got the other two, and it's nice to sort of round off the trilogy, or the three. Connect up the triangle, the Duke Nukem triangle, and I mean there was a decent selection of games there actually. I mean they actually had Bloody Raw, a Japanese Bloody Raw, which surprised me. It was just sort of randomly sitting there, and I was almost like compelled to buy it, but I can't use it. And the only reason I would have had it would be to use as like trade fodder, just because it was like because it was so unusual to see. Just might as well nab it, but no, I left it. I left it for someone else who could get better use out of it, and it's not there anymore because I've been back since it's gone. So I was actually going to get it the second time around, but right, they've got 5 games here. They're all for the cases, pretty much, from cash converters. I won't really go into them too much, but the first one is a Xena Warrior Princess. This is cash converters in Walthamstow, the same place where I got it's over there, Morrowind Game of the Year edition. And I had it in my head that there's still going to be good stuff there, because generally that's how it works. If I find something particularly good, every time I go back I just assume whatever that there's going to be something just as good. On this occasion, not really. It's just a load of games for the cases, but they're 30p. If that doesn't focus, that says 30p. Focus. Slow. Is that what focusing? Really slowly. It's 30p. Yeah. I suppose you can take my word for it, couldn't you? I've read reviews of this and it sounds shite. So that's probably for the case. Like I've said in the past, I don't like to dismiss games, but sometimes full well. It's another one. This is probably not quite as rubbish, but not really my sort of game. It's 007 Racing. These are all good cases, but having said that, I've already got 12 or 13 like spare cases upstairs, and with no games to put in them. So I don't know why I've got any more. 007 World Is Not Enough. I saw that in the cinema in 1999, I think, before Christmas, and we got there really late, and all the seats were taken, bar the three right in the corner by the right at the front. So we sat there like looking up like this, and it's the most uncomfortable trip to the cinema I've ever had. Actually, having said that, I went to see The Hobbit last night. It's really good, really good. Comparatively to Lord of the Rings, there's a lot more dialogue, a lot more periods of dialogue, and it feels the pacing is slower. But I don't mind that. I'm quite happy to sit and watch a film with sort of slow pacing. I saw it in 3D, which I think 3D is overrated. I've resisted 3D until now, and I do think it's overrated. It just doesn't really add as what you'd expect it or you'd hope it would. But the film is really good. The combat is really good. There's some really sort of striking images. It looks beautiful, but just you should see Gollum especially. You can really see the technology because it's Peter Jackson's newfangled 48 frames per second film stock or whatever it is. Shooting technique, and Gollum especially looks beautiful. And you can actually see it looks like Andy Serkis. But I recommend it. I mean, it's like I said, the pacing's different to Lord of the Rings. It picks up near the end. There's a good section where there's lots of dialogue, not so much action. But I don't mind that. At one point, I thought it was going to turn into a musical because the group of dwarves keeps singing different songs just randomly. They sort of stand up and sort of sing a song, but it doesn't. It's not a musical. But anyway, carrying on with these games that are just for the cases. This one's slightly more interesting. It's Star Ixiom. It's sort of a Colony Wars clone, and I love Colony Wars. Really like Colony Wars, and this sounds slightly different. It's got like an extra tactical element to it where you can plot sort of wider ranging tactics, and then sort of operate. Just spat on my screen. Operate within those tactics, and this would have been more of a keeper if it had a manual. It hasn't got a manual, which is sort of bloody irritating. And probably the best game of those 5, although this is the only duplicate. It's Crash Team Racing. The actual case is in really nice nick. It's sort of like just barely a scratch, if I'm honest. But the thing with this, it's a duplicate, and this is one of my favourite games from when I was from one of my favourite PS1 games. Generally, I'm an RPG sort of shooter, personally plays those sorts of games. But I bought this when I was at university, and we played a lot, and I've got fond memories of this. I've got a lot of nostalgia for it. So I don't know whether to swap out my one for this one, because I'm guessing this one's in better nick. But then it's the same game, and that's where the nostalgia lies. And maybe I'm revering the object too much, I don't know. But no, I mean, we used to play that when I was at university, and all we had was this tiny, shitty little CRT TV. And I remember one particular night, we used to play like the arena matches and just the standard races. But one particular night, I remember coming back from the pub, and there's 4 of us lived in this house together, and we sat after the pub. None of us had pulled, because then obviously you wouldn't come back and play video games if you pulled, would you? Well, some people might, but but we sat, and my mate Dave, who's a drama queen anyway, factor in that we were all really drunk. He's a drama queen, and we're sitting playing split screen 4-player Crash Team Racing on this tiny little 14-inch CRT. So that's a quarter of a 14-inch screen, and he just lost it. It was really funny. He just went mental just because he was sort of concentrating on this tiny little thing, and he's got glasses, and his eyesight is pretty poor, and he just went mental. Funny. It was really funny. Well, not for him, not at the time, but it's funny for us. Anyway. Same day, different place. This was actually in Waltham Cross. This is unrelated, not really related to Walthamstow, about half an hour on the bus. But definitely worth going, because it's a nice place, and not a nice place. Well, it's alright, I suppose. If anybody knows Waltham Cross, I don't want to slag it off too much, but it's good for games, because there's an indie shop, a cash converters, cash generators, a Blockbuster, and loads of charity shops. And I went into Blockbuster, and this one did have a buy one get one free, and I got Time Crisis. And like Crash Team Racing, I've got a lot of nostalgia for Time Crisis. Back in the same year actually, back in 1999, it was at Christmas, so going into year 2000, I got the G-Con pack, Time Crisis, and must have traded it in somewhere down the line. but kept the gun, and the box went as well. So I just had the gun, and so I've been looking for Time Crisis ever since, really. Although this is slightly different. This is just a standard release, I think. And I got really good at it to the point where I played it a lot that Christmas, to the point where I developed my own technique where I hold the G-con up to my eye and look right down the sight, and it became really effective. And I knew where all the enemies were, so I could anticipate where they were going to pop up and stuff. But no, I've got fond memories of this. But I had a different version, or a different release issue. Good thing about this, I didn't really know because it was wrapped in plastic, and there's got a point blank demo in there as well, which is I'm pretty pleased with, because I might not keep it with that, but I do know that point blank demo comes with Klonoa, so if I can track down a copy of Klonoa without demo, I might be able to get it for cheap, and I've already got the point blank demo, so everybody wins, or I do anyway. not to look too smug. I'll do that. That sounded really smug, didn't it? Alright, have a go at me. Well, anyway. That was buy one get one free, and the game I got with it was Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. This is a game I used to have, but traded at CEX when there was something that I wanted more came up in a local branch, and I needed to get some credit because I couldn't afford it. So this was a victim of that process. But I had played it, and it was decent, but I felt a bit guilty because I've not really given it a proper shot. So ever since then, I've tried to get it back, and I do think this Budokai 3 is supposed to be the best of the Dragon Ball Z games on the PS2. Although, if anybody knows them more, they all do tend to look the same. I've played a few, and they generally feel very similar. But I do remember enjoying it, but not enough that I didn't want to. It wasn't sort of potential trading for that. So I'm chuffed, and I'm going to have a proper go at it because, like I said, I feel guilty afterwards. But, again, same day. Still in. Actually, no. This isn't Walthamstow. This is Edmonton, my favourite branch of cash converters. Not that I want to encourage people to go down there because that would be competition for me, but. They're consistent. You can't say that all branches of cash converters, their stock changes a lot, this branch. It changes, it updates a lot. Often you go into a branch of cash converters or cash generator and the stock will be the same old rubbish that you saw last time. In this branch they do get new stock in regularly, which makes it my favourite branch. But so first game, this is another duplicate, but I felt compelled to get it. It's Kingsfield 4. It's by From Software, makers of like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and it's a first-person RPG with the sort of the standard like just really slowly swiping sort of sword, combat like that. But I've not actually played my version. This might be better nick than my version. I haven't really checked, so maybe I should. But if not, this will be a trader, probably a seller, if I'm honest. But it was $1.99. And I do know that they're quite difficult to get hold of, these. I think that at the time when I bought it, there was only one copy in any CEX in the whole of the UK. And so when you know a game's sort of that's uncommon, that's scarce, it's I say it's my sort of game, but I've already got it anyway, so it's sort of relevant. I have found I do tend to buy if a game is duplicate, I do tend to buy a game that's it's my sort of game anyway. That's obviously self-explanatory, isn't it? If I'm going to buy a game that's a seller honour, that's my point. If I'm going to buy a game that's a seller honour, it's usually a game that is my sort of game anyway. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. But anyway, this is one of those. This is an example. This is a duplicate anyway. But I've not tried it. It looks better than the PS1 version, Kingsfield, which I do have, which is just really blocky and pixely. This is obviously less blocky and less pixely, but slightly more interesting than that still is Mega Man X8. I've avoided these because I was aware that they weren't held in quite high esteem as the earlier games. they don't really get the plaudits that the sort of the PlayStation 1 or the SNES games do, or the And I've read reviews, and they've not been too complimentary. I know X7 isn't too like hot, and I know people on YouTube have bought it and said it's not really worth it. But this is only one. I'll tie it up. It's only $1.99. That's not going to focus. Oh jeez. Only $1.99, and for some reason, because it was a PS2, I had in my head that it was sort of like a sort of 3D like adventure run and gunner, which it is. It's 2D. It's a 2D playing with 3D visuals. It's basically a Mega Man X game, but I've watched videos. I've not tried it. I've watched videos of it, and it looks better. And I can't really see where the criticisms come from. But this actually fetches a bit on eBay. I mean that fetches a decent amount, but not too much. Probably around about just under a tenner, or maybe slightly over, or probably like £7 or so. But this one, maybe it's to do with inflated Christmas price, pre-Christmas prices, because prices are inflated. I think it's undeniable at the moment. But this was going for a bit. I don't really know. So it's a keeper anyway. But that's a nice little sort of byproduct of taking a chance on a Mega Man game, and I'm expecting to like it because like I said, it did look enjoyable. It's supposed to be like balls hard, like proper ball breaker. But anyway, I'll give it a shot. If it's a ball breaker, I'll just admit defeat, which I normally do. I do need to be more persistent with my games. If I do find if I'm ploughing through a game and I hit a hard patch, I do tend to take a break, often for years. Also, in that same branch, Nightmare Creatures 3. I've actually been looking for Nightmare Creatures 2. 3? This is Nightmare Creatures. I've been looking for Nightmare Creatures 2, which is a lot more uncommon, but not supposed to be as good a game as this one. Not that this is a brilliant game. It's from the sort of the post Tomb Raider generation, the sort of third-person action adventure game where you're like a dude, a kung fu monk, I think, and you beat up demons and zombies. But it's got that sort of post Tomb Raider vibe where you know every other game at that time was a third-person action adventure, sort of obviously trying to ape Lara Croft. But this is one of those tiny little. No, it's not worth it, is it? No, barely worth it. It's a game that I do remember. I think I had this on demo. I do remember playing it, and it's a game I'm prepared to give a go to this time round. I mean, I'm not imagining great things, but it's, the themes and the sort of style of game is something I'm expecting to enjoy. Hopefully, the actual mechanics live up to that. A game I know I'm going to enjoy is Rescue Shot. This is an Namco light gun game in the vein of Ghoul Panic or Point Blank, and I'm pretty chuffed to have this. This was actually in this Edmonton cash converters behind their counter for a long time, and I'm a bit shy when I go into shops, and I don't like to ask people if I can have a look at the stuff behind the counter. I'm not proactive like that. And luckily this time I went in and it had actually been put out on the shelf. And it looks like a slightly more narrative-driven version of that sort of style of Point Blank game. And I'm really chuffed. It's not really worth anything, but you don't see it around too much. And the best game of that batch of 5 from that little trip out, this is the last game. I've saved it to the last, as I normally do. You know, make sure people keep watching. So, Devil Dice. Precursor to Bombastic on the PS2. The only downside is it's obviously got a bit of sun bleaching there, and on the back as well. And that corner, that corner there. I think that light blue patch is sun bleaching, and you see the top of the P there. That's obviously been got at, but I'm tempted to try and colour that in with felt tip, but I might screw it up more than you know. This is quite a sought after game. I mean, it can fetch a bit on a good day. I mean, there was one that went for about £5 with postage on top, so about £7.50 in total recently. But somebody got a really good bargain. So obviously 99p is a bit of a no-brainer, but you could expect to pay over a tenner for this, maybe 15. For a seller, 20 quid on a good day, but obviously for a buyer, you're looking to pay less. But it's got a decent range and it's got a little bit of a cult following. But I did notice there's a job lot of games on eBay. Job lot of actually sleeves, and it's got devil dice in it. And I'm tempted to buy it, but the rest of the games is just literally for the sleeves, because that does bug me actually, that bit of sun damage. But that's the funny thing about that game. I do pride myself on having a good eye when I go into shops. You know, if there's competition around, like people looking at the same shelves I am, I do pride myself on the fact that I can spot the good stuff and not nab it. It's a bit embarrassing, you know. Looking back, you know, there's no pride in that. You think, oh, chill out, mate. You know, if I was an outsider, I'd see myself for my own actions, and I'd go, chill out, mate. But I do pride myself on having a decent eye for that, for the bargains, like that. And that Devil Dice was one of those. But I saw it, I can remember seeing it, skirted right over it, didn't notice it. I saw it but didn't notice it, if that makes sense. And it's only when I went back over the shelf a second time and I thought, hang on, how did I miss that? So I thought, luckily, there wasn't anybody around, it's just me. So, but anyway, so that was a nice little batch. That was 13 games in one day. And I've not been out really much since until yesterday. The day before yesterday, and I went out and I wasn't actually looking for myself. I had some credit, and the games I did buy were from Retro Game Base back down in Streatham. I still had credit left over from last time, but everything else I went out to get was Christmas presents, so I wasn't really buying for myself. And annoyingly, I did see a lot that I wanted, but I didn't have the money, and it was a time when I was being less selfish with my money, because generally I am pretty selfish. Generally, I spend my money on myself until it's Christmas or birthdays or really cheap. I'm not painting myself in a good light here, am I? I actually saw Magna Carta on the PS2 in a charity shop. It's the North London Hospice in Wood Green. If anybody knows Wood Green and knows the North London Hospice, get down there, because they've got Magna Carta. Not a game you see out and about too much. They got it for £2. Anyway. I went down to Streatham on that particular day to spend my credit I still had, because on their eBay page, the stock they have on their eBay page is literally the stuff they have in stock, so you can check what they have in stock. And I got loaded. This was basically to make it. This was a $4.99, which is slightly overpriced, I think. But I wanted this. I used to have Reloaded and it was a bit rubbish. I wanted this one because it's supposed to be the better game, and I wanted the double case, because this is the 13th PlayStation release, and it's supposed to be better than the first game, because the second game. The second game is rubbish. I had it, and it's got the digital audio soundtrack featuring Pop Release itself. Who remembers them? Big Mac Fries to Go. That was them, wasn't it? Big Mac Fries to Go. But that's $4.99. That's slightly overpriced, but that's sort of like indie game shop prices. But obviously, because I've got the credit from the stuff in the past, which I'd spent about £5.50 on, so I don't really mind spending that for a game I particularly wanted. But the main reason I went down there was for this. It's Diablo, and they got it for $14.99. And strangely, I noticed that they've got it on their eBay page. It's $13.99. So obviously their prices in store are slightly more expensive. Obviously you don't have to factor in postage. But this is obviously like a hack and slash dungeon crawler, but with the sort of the PC gamer vibe. And I'm not expecting this to be anywhere near as good as the PC version, but it looks good enough. And this is a good collectible game, and it's an RPG, and it's my sort of game. That was $14.99, which is a good price actually. It is a good price. That might be pre-Christmas inflated prices, but that's been going for a decent amount. Sort of around about 15, 20 quid, I think. I might be wrong. I might have seen. What am I talking about? I'm talking bollocks. I might be mistaken. Anyway, last game. This was just a random purchase. I was just sort of like like scouting about online, and I went on to Cash Generator, and I've always done well at Cash Generator. It's another recommendation. Every time I've used them, I always recommend them. Their postal service is brilliant. I ordered a present for someone on Amazon. Don't know. This is going back. What's the day? Today's Friday. So it must have been the beginning of the week. Probably about Monday. And the sun's coming out now. Oh, now it's casting a shadow. Go away. How irritating. Yeah, and I bought something from Amazon back on Monday, and it's only turned up today. Turned up in the post. I bought this game from Cash Generator website. It came from Deptford, and it turned up via courier this morning before the post. So it came in half the time from Amazon, what I bought from Amazon, and it came via courier. I paid $1.99 for it, which is a decent price, and they charged $1.10 postage for a CityLink courier, and it's a PSP game. It's Jeanne d'Arc, basically based on sort of like Joan of Arc's life, I think, but with lots of fantasy elements to it. But the reason I got this, it was $1.99. It's a game I've been looking out for. Not that I've got a PSP, but I've wanted to get it, and this will sort of hurry me up to go and actually finally get a PSP. But it's NTSC only, or US only. It wasn't never released in the UK. It's supposed to be really good, and I know people have got it, and I know people have recommended it. So that was a bit of a no-brainer for $1.99. And then again, I can't recommend the Cash Generator online service highly enough. I know they're independent shops, they're independent of each other, but I've never had any problems, apart from the first time. That wasn't their problem. That was some light-fingered scumbag robbed the postal van. That wasn't their fault. They were really good about it when I asked for a refund, because they got in touch with the Fuzz, or the Fuzz got in touch with them, or whatever. They needed the incident sort of code, but they were really good about it. So, oh, look at the pissing lights. How? Oh, Jesus. Sit here if you just see my lovely face. Now it's just dazzling me. So I'll call it a day now, because the light's not playing games. Piss off, son. Have a good Christmas. If I don't see you before, which I probably won't. I might do, but I probably won't. Have a good one. Drive safe. I would say don't drink too much, but no, drink a lot, even if you're underage. Actually, no, forget that. But you got to start somewhere, you know. And everybody drinks before they're really, you know. I forgot how old I was when I first had alcohol. Shit, I thought I'd just stop. Anyway, have a good one. Stay safe, have a good Christmas, eat lots of stuff, drink lots of stuff. Everybody gets what Santa brings everybody what they wanted. And I'll probably show what I've got. I'm not expecting to get much worth showing. I'll probably get money, so nobody wants to see money, do they? Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Now the sun's pissing me off, I'll be off. So, again, have a good one. See you later. Bye.